Good evening, fellow ghouls and specters alike. It's your ghost host with the most, Tiki here.
And Blue Dragon 5, here to engage in some haunted holiday hijinks by trudging through the catacombs and dusting off the cobwebs to recount our spooky selection of Halloween classics.
So, light the jack-o'-lanterns, suit up, and grab the candy dish as we revive and recount tonight's spooky selection. Oink, oink. It's Pigmalion! Okay, so Dragon, this is perhaps one of the most unconventional Halloween episodes that we've ever covered. And I say Halloween episodes because I went back, I checked the tape, that there is indeed Halloween going on in the background. It's not very prominent, but it's there. But Dragon, of course, this episode is mostly well known for the great Michael Keaton delivering arguably probably one of the most memorable one-off guest spots in King of the Hill history is Trip Larson, in many ways a kind of like a dark amalgamation of what what Hank Hill could become if he used his powers of propane for bad instead of good, one could say. So yeah, Dragon, this was an out there episode. I gotta say, I'm not even really sure how we're gonna break it down, given that it's a very slow burn to some pretty horrific stuff at the end. So how are you feeling about it right now?
Yeah, so when I was watching through King of the Hill, this one definitely stood out, for the Keaton factor of it all, but also just how psychologically disturbed it was.
Of course, of
Definitely
course.
one of the darkest King of the Hill moments happens at the very end of this episode. Quite the controversy. But yeah, I mean, this is us roughly in. I only have like one thing of background, so I might as well mention it now with my thoughts here. Is the fact that this was see, this is apparently originally this was intended to be a season 5 episode, but because it assumedly, at least in quotes, it got banned. It kind of got
Mm.
shuffled around, presumably for the ending. Now there was a big misnomer that went around. Apparently, a lot of people thought the ending was censored, but no, it was just never animated. It was never horrifically animated. The last shot that
Well,
I think
you
we
know
all
what's I'm glad you
imagined.
bring that up because you know what's funny about that is that I feel like the ending in itself is so horrific just by what it implies
Yeah,
that it's one of those situations where people could have sworn that they actually saw the shot when they did it. You know what I mean?
yeah, it's a psycho thing. It's the
Right,
whole like
right, exactly,
I
exactly.
saw the knife penetrate. No, you didn't. You're nuts. But yeah, so this is kind of this ultimately became a season 7 episode, but it was kind of in the 5 space. And let's see. Oh yes, and yes, of course. Now we're in season 7. We're definitely in the no hope for Peggy Hill kind of country. It's like oh
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I
This
think
episode's one of the
Piggy
ones.
Hill has approximately one good moment in this episode, and the rest is pretty
I
disastrous.
don't even know if she has that. I don't know.
Not even a good moment as far as like a heroic or like good as a human being moment, but a moment that made me laugh at
All right, well we'll see.
least.
Regardless, but yeah, I mean this overall, it's a very it's a very
This
interesting
last
episode.
Piggy Hill episode we talked about, man, we were all aglow about her.
Yeah, yeah. It was the Christmas one.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, it's probably if I recall, it was like in season 2 or 3, right?
I think too.
That's what I'm saying. I was in like the heyday for Peggy Hill. Like, and
Uh,
after honestly, it's kind of like this is going to sound really dark, but this is a really dark episode, so I think we can get away with it. Yeah, an argument could be made. She probably shouldn't have survived that
ooh.
plane jump. Because after that plane jump in season 4, she was never the same.
I mean, it gave her some character eccentricities for sure.
That's the thing. I don't think for the better though.
I know.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. That's I guess let's break it down.
Okay, so we start at rattlesnakes. Dragon, I gotta tell you, you and I, we've raved before. Don't you love these like classic Texan steakhouses that we go to in King of the Hill?
Oh yes, I do. Of course, the best tiki. We know what the best one is. The best one's the one where Bobby, the one with the what's the name of the episode where Bobby gets broken up with by Sarah Michelle Gellar?
I don't remember the episode title, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Anyway, I think that wasn't like they call it Bobby Love or something.
Dragon, I don't know. You're putting me on the
Well, I'm
spot.
saying you were glowing. Oh, it's this is what the episode's called and everything. Before, so
Okay, yeah, that was before when I was specifically looking up something that the episode that we were talking about referenced. I'm
all
sorry
right.
for not remembering notes that I took like half a year ago.
It wasn't half a year.
I know. Okay, just Jesus. All right,
All
it's
right.
not a big deal.
All right. Anyway, regardless, that steakhouse was amazing.
It is.
But let's see. Of course, we should probably mention. Of course, one of the reasons in our arrangement of things this year, we covered a very food animation heavy episode with Heads of Beef recently, which
Yes,
had a pig
yes.
theme.
Heads of beef, which the food was beef, but the creatures were very much pigs.
Yes, yes, and here we see what's the most sinister pig of all, my friend? It is the pig that is, in fact, man.
Yes, man.
Uh,
Indeed, indeed.
all
All
right,
right.
let's see. So Luann works at the Rattlesnake Steakhouse, right?
Wrong, because Peggy steps in to make sure that that's not the case.
Yeah, so like Luann was just getting chewed out by her boss or something really minor of like like a salad fork ended up somewhere it wasn't supposed to, and
I gotta tell you, man, like that is something that steakhouses take seriously. Like if it's a normal restaurant or something, whatever, all the silverware is pretty much like, just generic bundles of silverware. But with a steakhouse, it's like, you got the steak knife, you got the salad knife, it's you got the bread knife. It's
that's what I'm
it's
saying. The knives are important, but the fork.
I don't know. I don't know.
Is the
I
knife I
think
get
like I can
absolutely. The knife is key at the steakhouse because you need to cut through the steak.
I do think that it's something that needs to be drilled into people's heads if they don't want to, because it's not something you want to keep messing up.
Okay, regardless, Luann makes a little mistake, so she's getting chewed out by the boss. So hopefully, it'd be like Kayate Pinata, get it right next time, that sort of thing. So not really like a fireable offense sort of thing.
Uh-huh.
It's like do it better, man. So it's kind of like the dog makes a mess, just rub its nose in it, sort of thing. So Peggy here, she butts in and basically forces Luann to quit. And I'm thinking, bad Peggy, bad.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's like, oh god, I hate all the
It is
festering
not a
hatred.
great note to start on with her for sure.
It's like just why was in such a good groove of King of the Hill, just enough to forget. It's like, oh, and that's why I don't like her. Right there. I love that we even have like a moment where like the boss is like, no, I wasn't gonna fire her.
I
I was
like
just
that too. Yeah, yeah.
it's like too late, and it's like, oh man, I just want to punch Peggy Hill so badly. So let's see. So we have our Halloween setup. We see the exterior shot. So I completely
Yeah,
forgot. I
I
knew we.
really like that Halloween in this episode is technically going on, but it's like blink and you miss it. Like it rarely gets brought up, and that's because obviously the true terror of the episode is kind of hiding in plain sight.
Yeah, I knew the episode had a costume party, but I completely forgot that it was specifically Halloween. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, absolutely fit our purposes by sheer luck.
Sure, sure.
So anyway, we have I like the little spider and see the spider, we see the pumpkin. It's like a spider on the mailbox or something. Looks really nice around the Hill House.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see. So Peg, she feels absolutely no guilt at all. She's completely oblivious that she did anything wrong. The flaming narcissist.
This scene might be like it might break a record for the most terrible things that Peggy Hill says like in succession.
In succession, for sure. Yes. Yeah.
I mean,
So,
yeah, this scene is like it's like candy for Peggy Hill haters. It's like, see, this is why she's bad.
Exhibit A, Your Honor.
Exactly.
Not even using that court episode. It's Exhibit A. So basically, she forced Luann to quit. So now she's basically like, "How did it help to lose my job?" He
Well,
says,
you see, honey, you wouldn't have been able to do it if it weren't for me. So it's all my, like she's basically just holding herself up on a pedestal for the shitty situation that Luann is now in.
No, we just have poor Luann here. It's like, can you ask me? Basically, can you ask me the next time you can I ask a question about my life choices before you make them for me? Sure. Would you like to go in at 7 or 9? 9. That's 7. That's not going to work for me. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
you.
that right there. It's just like, oh God, oh Jesus,
I want to
Piggy.
chuck her out a window. I really do. On the 5th story.
And just to clarify, no one wants to go to an adult like seminar lecture thing at 9 p.m. at night. That's way too late.
Yeah, was it nighttime? Because I thought it was like 7 or 9.
I'm pretty
like,
sure it was nighttime. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. Actually, that makes it a lot worse because I was thinking like it was
that's
like
what
in
I'm
the
saying.
AM. Yeah, because like 7 or 9 in the AM is like, well, it's still she shouldn't have just like offer that, but no, if it's at night, then yeah, it's even worse.
No, it's definitely at night because we cut to a nighttime exterior shot.
Yeah, you're right. So we're at the Learning Annex, and they bring in a guest speaker. And Tiki, who is this guest speaker?
Oh dear God, it's freaking Trip Larson, Dragon. Who is Trip Larson? Give us the elevator pitch on Trip Larson.
Okay, Trip Larson is essentially the I forget what our real world equivalent is here, but essentially he is the he's kind of like he deals in pork products. He's kind of like the main meat manufacturer of all the pork related products in Ireland and probably beyond, or probably just in Texas in general, I'd imagine. Of course, he is voiced by the incomparable, the very talented Michael Keaton,
Indeed.
and not just Michael Keaton, Tiki.
90s
Michael Keaton
Michael Keaton.
Well, no, Michael Keaton as we rarely, if ever, have seen him before. Keaton with a mustache.
Oh my God, yes. Even
Seriously,
if
when's
it's
the last
an
time?
animated mustache, it counts.
When's the last time you remember Keaton with a mustache?
I honestly don't know.
There may be only like one time I've ever seen Keaton. It's a maybe. It's the movie that Larry David did.
Oh God.
Anyway. So, Clear History, that's what it's called, by the way, kids, you want to look into it. I don't know if he has a mustache in it. I'm just speculating. He may or may not have a mustache in it. Anyway. So, yes, the point being, Trip Larson speaking, being a very successful guy, and he kind of inspires Luann. And of course, and this is great, with the charm of Keaton. And again, we kind of have a little bit of kind of what worked about Keaton in Batman '89 when you think about it. Is that the whole reason Tim Burton wanted him in '89 was the fact that you can believe this guy has a bit of a screw loose and he could put on a bat costume. So we kind of do that ultimately with a pig costume. We're kind of building up. You buy that this guy at the end of the day would be put into a pig costume, and he would.
But I love how it's a slow build. It's like, it really does just kind of feel like he's more predatory than anything else.
Yeah, for sure. But I love that there's a charm, but there's also a menace. But you're kind of too charmed to realize, like he's saying, yeah. I remember my grandfather. We've killed more pigs than pig hepatitis.
All right, I'm looking into this Clear History movie, and he has a mustache, but it's kind of like styled in mutton chops.
Right?
So like it's not even really like a traditional mustache.
It's a mustache in quotes.
Yeah, so it's like I don't know. That is weird that Michael Keaton just is adverse to the mustache.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Okay. So, but yeah. So the whole the pig hepatitis thing. So, which again is like a line of like, oh man, there's some like creepy like killing pigs with hammers and then pig hepatitis. Like there's some darkness there, man.
All
right. So,
let's just be honest. Like he just takes a liking to Luann just way too fast and way too predatory. It's very creepy is what it is. I mean, it's
yes, he had
just the fact that he just like instantly approaches Luann as soon as the seminar is over and he's like, hey, did you enjoy the seminar as much as I enjoyed you being in it? It's like, no.
Do you remember, I'm sorry, there's another obnoxious Peggy Hill.
Dragon, I'm sorry, I have a few movies that Keaton has a mustache in, but it's okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, again, I said I wasn't sure. I'm just saying the movie, I've rarely ever seen him with the mustache, but it's good to know at least we've seen
Fully Keaton. Loaded, which I didn't even know he was in.
Oh, yeah, he's the father in that. He had a mustache in that?
Yeah.
Get out of here. Oh, man, that's awesome.
Also, Birdman, he's got a mustache, like a goatee, but...
Well, that doesn't, the goatee doesn't count as the mustache.
All right, fine. It doesn't count since it's a goatee. All right, fine. All right.
There's a line,
honestly,
man.
I would say Herbie Fully Loaded is probably like the most traditional, like he's just got a dad stash.
Okay, that's good. That's good to know. I've seen that movie. That's a
delight. Wait. What? It's a goatee.
What?
He's got the chin. He's got the chin hair.
See, I knew that would have. I knew that if he had a mustache in that movie, it would have jumped out at me. That's why.
All right. Michael
Anyway.
Keaton, always a man for a goatee, never a man for a mustache.
Yeah, that's something we really got to look into, Tiki, after this. We got to see if there's a movie where Keaton has a
Oh,
mustache.
God.
Not right now. Not right now.
All right. Anyways, we're derailing this podcast.
I know, you keep derailing. You're the one pulling up
I
the
know.
mustache.
I'm the one to blame. I know. Go ahead.
One thing, I love we have. So we do have some clever lines here about the whole. What are food products? So they're like food but cheaper. And then we have the really obnoxious Peggy Hill thing. The whole, any questions? Of course, Peggy Hill has a comment, not a question. Just saying, "I file all my good ideas." What a narcissist! Well, it's more a, it's more a comment. But it's like,
well, thank you very much.
God. Hank Hill's such a saint for dealing with that woman. He really is. We should nominate him for sainthood. I don't think it's too late. So,
or Dragon, or we could buy him a piece of property in that fucking random patch of farmland in Scotland, and somehow he becomes a lord.
Yeah, Tiki, I hate to break it to you here while we're on the middle of something here, but
God.
I don't think that's going to catch on. I don't think the real estate thing is going to catch on.
Well, I'm just saying, it's just every time I see someone trying to use that as like a sponsorship, I'm like,
yeah,
what
I think
doing?
it's too niche to keep bringing back, man. I don't think it's gonna. We should probably just get back to it.
All right, fine.
Okay. So Larson chats Luann up as you said, and there's like an unspoiled quality to her. Again, unspoiled, just being very indicative of meat. She's meat to him, Tiki. Meat.
Yeah, and I like how initially Hank Hill like instantly picks this up, like in the dinner conversation the next day. Luann is instantly offered a job, and Hank, he spells it out. Dragon, he's not comfortable spelling it out, but he spells it out.
God bless Hank Hill. He's always so perfect. I love him.
Men might sometimes want things that they're not saying that they want. You mean sex? No.
He pops back in.
Yes.
Oh, my favorite. I love right before all that happened. I love where he kind of gets in there, like they're having ice cream. So, ice cream. What are we celebrating?
Oh God!
It's the little things that intrigue Hank Hill. It's like ice cream. What are we celebrating? Ice cream's the celebration treat. All right, let's see. So, point being, Peg here, she chaperones Luann as she goes to her interview at Trip Larson's house. Like, why the heck would you do an interview at the guy's house? Of course, nowadays it's a huge red flag. Back then, it was like, let's give it a shot. So, let's see. So, we have the hot air balloon ride. Oh boy!
Yes.
So Luann goes on like kind of a romantic hot air balloon kind of like chat with Trip Larson, and Peggy's like reading his biography, The Whole Pig.
Yeah, and I love how like every time Peggy or Hank show up at Trip's house, he's always suggesting these just super mundane things for them to do to just distract them.
Yeah, as he's putting the moves on Luann with the monocular.
Oh my God!
Not the binocular. No. That's for two. It's more intimate with the one.
Indeed.
The monocular. It's the rich man's binocular. It's like a monocle, only it telescopes.
Yes.
Anyway.
So yeah, that really wins Luann over, and they start just straight up making out on the hot air balloon, much to the chagrin of Peggy.
In all fairness, I may have oversold the monocular because I think it was more so him saying, like, you're not stupid, you're ignorant, which is kind of a big theme of the episode.
No, yeah, and Luann somehow being dumb enough to take that as a compliment.
Yeah, because no one ever really, no one really told you how ignorant you truly are, and that works on her, and they're kissing, and like, that is not proper, that is not a proper interview. All right,
so we're at the alley once again. We get like just a tiny taste of Halloween, Dragon. We just have a jack-o'-lantern just chilling on the side of the sidewalk.
Yep, and we learn that Luann received a position. That position was girlfriend.
Oh my god. Jesus Christ.
There's a pull for old Joshy boy if he's watching this. But you have the position of Trip Larson's girlfriend, which concerns Hank, and we see that her hair has been braided well, we're gonna learn what her hair is braided like, but she's got like some Wendy's hair going on here.
Yes.
Anyway, let's see. So,
Pigtails, one could say.
oh yes, one could say yes. Good call. Yeah. So then, of course, the fact that he's old enough to be her father, very concerning there. And then, of course, like she's pulling out the old like French way of eating. Where I'll have my salad after my steak. Trip says that's the French way, and Bobby's all for that. Like, I'll have my dessert, then the steak, and then maybe the salad.
If I have room.
All right, let's see. So then we have let's see what else.
Salad after steak. I hate to say this twice in one meal, but horse's ass.
In reference to how her hairstyle looks as well, but yes.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see. So, they go visit Trip Larson as he's wrapping up a tennis match, and of course, Peggy Hill, she brings her famous
Brown Betty.
Her famous Brown Betty, which I believe we dedicated an episode to saying not so famous, kind of plagiarized.
Yes. Her Brown Betty has been a plot point multiple times.
Yep, including when she almost killed Randy Travis with it.
Oh my god.
Anyway, so the Brown Betty, so she uses this as kind of a veiled invite so that she can, basically tell them to back off of Luann. Of course, instantly distracts Hank. And if he can distract Hank Hill, Luann doesn't stand a chance. So Hank Hill gets distracted with the bloopers, some football bloopers.
Yes,
including...
these are exclusive bloopers. They don't just show these anywhere. These are rich people bloopers.
And not just rich people bloopers that include many, not just the one, but many bloopers of the snowman catching on fire.
Oh my god.
So after a few...
That's like Hank is just completely sold on that. Hank Hill is a man of simple pleasures sometimes, and he succumbs to that a couple times throughout the episode.
It's why I love him. We have to write Hank Hill out. If we're going to write him out, this is how we do it.
Indeed.
So he then shows Hank the oh boy, we got to talk about the Mustang of pigs, of behooved critters, my friend. We got to talk about the J5. Tiki, let's talk about the features of the J5. Tell them all about the features.
Oh, you do it, please.
Okay, folks, you've seen a pig. We've seen Miss Piggy, but you have not seen a pig like this, my friends. This pig, it is loaded. When I say loaded, it is loaded full of fat, gelatinous pig fat. And when I say that, I mean this thing is quote the episode, so tender and fat you could eat it with a spoon. In 5 years, you just might be able to. So yes, and I just love this is adorable. This is fact, like a pig that's so fat and so ready to be turned into many pig products. Few steps, and it falls asleep because it's tired. And of course, like, oh, it's just like a baby. Hey, Peg, that remind you of someone? Like, how he's comparing. Again, it's kind of insulting, but it's kind of adorable. He's like, oh, it reminds me of Bobby.
And I also would like to think that Trip is using his enthusiasm for his work and like using language like pork products because he knows that's gonna like strike Hank's fancy with the whole like I sell propane and propane accessories.
Yeah, well, that brings us to the next big distraction, which is ingenious in so many ways. Okay, so we have. This gag still cracks me up to no end, and then it gets really intimidating. But I love how initially it just cracks you up. So he then entices Hank with the hot air balloon trick that he used on Luann. But it makes all the sense in the world that you'd think Hank Hill would approve of the hot air balloon because I don't need to tell you it's powered by propane. Then Hank Hill, I think probably the best line he has in the episode, one of the best lines, he has a lot of good lines in the episode.
That's one of the 8 uses of propane I haven't experienced.
I haven't experienced firsthand.
God, Dragon, I'm sorry. I want to know what Hank Hill's propane bucket list is.
That is something to consider because you got to. Well, we know propane's used for hot tubs and grilling and hot air balloon travel. It's at least 3. I mean, there's probably others.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, But yeah, there's the fact. I mean, one, it's just the fact that it's a propane connect, like with the whole pork products thing. It's a very reliable, very bustling business in Texas. Because again, it's kind of a correlation of like you grill things, you would grill pig products. Ergo, there's a connect. But the
Exactly.
flip side of it that just cracks me up is the fact that Hank Hill is seduced like Luann is. So it's like if he really wanted to, just Hank Hill be in that balloon at his mercy. Which, in the dark sense, he is absolutely right now, as Trip Larson spells it out, as he's like so innocent.
I honestly think this scene right here has like just a tinge of Gus Fring to it.
There is absolutely there is a twinge of Fring in
Just a
there, of course.
tinge.
And of course, with the twinge, you got to admit, our fast food manufacturers, or at least our food impresarios here, not to be trusted, not to be trifled with. Kids.
Indeed.
Anytime you see a fast food impresario, every time you see a guy who's a manager of a place who might own some stake in something, be very careful. It might be a kingpin.
That's why bosses are just universally written to be assholes.
Okay.
All right. Anyways,
so it's the fact like Hank's like so giddy like Luann. He's like, I'm like Neil Armstrong up here, and I can see everyone's gutters. They look great. So here we go. It's a Trip Larson. He's holding the little string on the hot air balloon, and he basically makes a very Gus Fringy point to Peggy Hill that I make my own rules here. Yeah,
and so he lets go of the rope for just a second, and Hank's kind of like stumbling around, and he thinks he's just, he basically thinks he just doesn't have his footing on the balloon. And I don't know, man. There's something just disquietingly evil about that with Trip, about how it's like, if he really wanted to, he could easily just take Hank out right there.
Well, remember, Tiki, it wasn't they let go. He's like he tugged on that thing, like shaking him out of the balloon, which is like, oh god, he could have just like shaked him like he's on a cherry picker or something. Again, it would have been a fall probably more lethal than what happened with Peggy, even though she, by all accounts, should not have survived that. Mm-hmm. Wet fields my foot. Anyway, but it's very intimidating. Oh no, not Hank! Anyone but Hank! No.
It's like they kill off Hank in the middle of this episode, and that's just it for his character.
Well, then we do like a Frankenstein revival or something.
Oh god!
Like Bill donated every organ to save him. God. Anyway,
Trip Larson takes over as the head of the family,
and that's how he gets to Luann, which is thing ever. Well, Luann, seeing as I'm the head of the household, I think we need to come to some arrangements.
Oh my god!
Oh god! Horrible. So, point being, we've separated Peg from Hank, so she's gotten all this, and Hank, of course, is in very much denial here. Like, well, because you were talking to him, he lost his grip or something. Mm-hmm. So again, these are it's like the whole Randy Travis thing, where Peggy Hill's very unstable. So if she's going on about something like this, her credibility is out the window. Her credibility is like, no, it's in the toilet. Why would I believe her?
Exactly. Yeah.
So she tries to tell Luann her boyfriend is crazy, and this leads her to break up. Leads her wants her to break up with him. Like, would you like me to break up with him, or do you want to do it?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, this is where she corrects Piggy's grammar, right?
Yes, she corrects.
Okay, because this is the one time where I actually like. I don't even really think it's justified. I just think it's very in character for her, even classic Peggy Hill, to get super offended at people correcting her grammar.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. It's the one time in the episode where, and you got to admit, Peggy is the one character who's actually being proactive in this situation. So, you got to give her some points for that.
I mean, yes,
it's like she very much got Luann into this situation, to be sure. But,
Yeah. And again, the irony here, and here's the thing, T. Honestly, the one flaw I really do have with this episode is that because of Peggy Hill, it's not just because of like the distaste for Peggy Hill, but it's because she does create an inherent flaw in the episode because of the way we portray her. It's the issue that thematically the episode is about Luann stands up for herself, like Peg is like saying she should, but obviously oblivious to the fact that she's she's getting in the way of that. So it's like, so Luann stands at the Peggy Hill like, I am a proud, ignorant woman. Again, she's kind of taking away the wrong lesson here. But later on, it's like, hey, you did this on your own. Where it's like, well, well, yeah, but Peg, you weren't really of much help at all, and you did get her into this situation. Like at every turn, you were oblivious to every fact in this stretch of journey. So I don't think you have any. One, you don't have any bragging points, but two, I think we've watered down the achievement in what Luann has done because of this.
No, I hear you. I hear you.
So, anyway, point being, this is the stupidest thing I've heard. Luann cries, and she runs right into the arms of a Keaton.
Oh boy.
Bum bum bum. And I love all the creepy lines that we give Keaton here. Like, you've wiped your eyes on my tie.
Oh my god. Yes. It's a very nice fabric.
Good. And that's the thing. Think about it. Trip Larson does not say a mean word. Really, if you think about it, he doesn't say a mean thing. He says like things that he kind of distracts a lot in the dialogue, like any good salesman or like any politician. He's just kind of like he like goes on about something. He says he talks about the quality of the wood floors or like how things feel. He just kind of talks about the niceties of what he has. Yeah. So it says, well, Luann, you are home. I had your belongings meat trucked here. I hope you'll forgive.
If they smell delicious.
I'm sorry if they smell delicious.
But then we get this great ominous shot of like, we have one meat, and again, this is almost like Fring-esque, where we have the one meat truck dropping off the stuff, but then all the other lines of meat trucks drag in. They're going right for the slaughterhouse.
Yeah, but just reminding you, she's in a mill of death. A mill of pig death.
And speaking of pig death, Dragon, what do the Hills find on their doorstep?
Oh boy, they find a Sicilian message, one could say. We find
we find Hank is like so in denial. Like again, this is Hank's kind of like like he's thinking like if I would leave propane tanks out for people to sample, and this guy's leaving us a pig. It's I don't know.
Yeah,
just very naive.
Yeah, let's see. I might have. I don't know if we. I'm going to take your word for it that happens there because I know we also have the thing where Luann's clothes have been shredded and she's stuck in the outfit.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we somehow jumped the gun there, but anyway. Let's see. So,
Dragon, I'm pretty sure that. I'm sorry. I'm pretty sure that you jumped the gun and skipped over that when she goes to Trip. Because that happens like.
Yeah, you know what, Tiki? I'm so sorry. You're right. Yeah, I think we jumped. Yeah, I jumped the gun on that. Yes. Yes, but yeah, so we have like the Sicilian message of like, like the you're right that we missed that whole scene. Yes, sorry. It's the fact that like, Boomhauer and the guys are like, oh man, that is a nice that's a nice pig that he's brought there. And
that's like, all Hank can think about is the barbecue of it all.
Yeah, and like they're all like that's like over $100 of barbecue right there. Look at that. And again, like Peggy's taking like I think like most of us were like, oh god, he dropped like a headless, full body pig on my doorstep saying to Peggy. That's a Sicilian message if I ever heard one. And of course, like she kicks the pig, and like then Bill Dotry just say like, "Your bro's in the rise."
Oh my god.
God. Then after all, that's when she like lays down the law of Luann, and then she goes to move in with Trip, and then we have the slaughterhouse thing. So sorry about that, folks. Regardless, so Luann learns like, hey, where are my clothes? Like, I had your clothes shredded. Fun fact. Now, I love he has like all these fun facts ready. Fun fact, synthetic ground cover works wonderfully.
But don't you worry, Dragon, because Luann's got a new wardrobe.
And it's all like kind of like the German kind of like almost Oktoberfest looking meat lady kind of dresses. I forget what you'd call that sort of thing, but yeah.
I'd say maybe like a milkmaid.
Yeah, milkmaid sounds about right. It's kind of like a milkmaid looking thing. Let's see. So point being, like the girl who's like on the pork products ads, she has like all of these.
And then Trip Larson, like in response to they're exactly the same, he has like his first real mental break of the episode. I think he's like,
"There's a small
exactly the same. Everything has a few small imperfections, and it drives me mad."
Yeah, that's the closest thing to something that really says like.
And that legitimately keeps Luann up at night. She's just stared up like, "What the hell did I get myself into?"
It's episodes like this that make you wonder, like, what would have happened if Keaton played the Joker?
Oh God.
So okay, then things get really scary. So Tiki, it's nighttime, and good things never happen at nighttime. Let's be honest.
Indeed, indeed.
So it's nighttime, and a noise wakes Luann up, and it's not Trip. But what happens when she opens that door? What comes at her?
Oh man, a pig dragon, a real life pig.
A snotty pig too. It's got
Yes.
icky
Oh god.
snot.
Oh
It's
god.
like
You're right. Oh, that's the worst of it. That's the worst of it.
it's a big old J5. It's a snotty J5 pig that's attacking her, and it's like, don't mess with Papa's lady now. And
Oh god.
tells it again, but there's a pig in the house. This is the fact of like, no, there's.
Oh, don't tell me you're jealous.
But no, I was told you don't have pigs in the house, and I wasn't rich or anything. You know, pigs in the house because you know how many people that can afford to have pigs in the houses, that have houses nice enough for pigs to roam around in.
Right.
And then goes on about the Brazilian rosewood. Oh God, the Brazilian rosewood. So then this is creepy, or he says, this guy's forgive us. This is kind of like the Mr. Win audio track to the episode here. The whole very creepy. This part's very creepy.
No, it is. It is.
So like, why don't you have some warm milk and go to bed? And
I'll have Blanca bring up a glass of warm milk. Finish all of it.
Finish it all.
Oh God. Like, yeah. No, thank you.
Eat the sandwich. Drink the milk.
Little Jeffrey Dahmer's there taking notes.
Yep.
I couldn't resist.
Okay, he's just he's watching this and he's going. Yeah, I'm sorry, it was. I mean, I forget what the date is on this episode.
The date would not line up at all.
Okay,
that's
what I. Okay, good.
This is pure fantasy land, right?
Just as the badge is like him writing down like, eat it, drink it all, eat it all. Okay, make sure they do. Okay, drink all the tainted. Okay. Anyway, so moving on from that, it's a dark episode, kids.
Yes.
All right, so Luann wakes up, and things get. If you think of how can things get creepier than a pig, than a snotty pig coming out at night while you're in Texas? Well, folks, that's because you're in Texas. This next part is not because you're in Texas. The next part because you need to run.
Texans deal with snotty pigs more than Floridians deal with alligators.
Yep, alligators. Yes.
I mean, I don't know about the snotty part, but
yeah. So Luann wakes up and she's seemingly her head is bleeding. It's like she's waking up freaking out like, oh,
well,
my
I love
head
the
is
visual
bleeding.
that's what it looks like at first because it's very effective.
Yeah, like, oh God, is it literally like The Godfather? She's waking up next to the dead pig that attacked her.
Right,
like,
right, yeah.
What's going on? Like, see what I did for you, my love? I killed the pig
God.
that scared you. You want bacon? I made some too from that.
Oh, Jesus.
Smells delicious, doesn't it? You know what that smells? It's retribution. So, no. In reality, she wakes up and Trip is like, he is bringing her breakfast in bed, though, which is nice. The rest is crazy, but that's nice.
Right.
So he reveals that, no, your head has not been harmed. It's been improved. He dyed her hair red while she slept. He says, but I don't want red hair. And he says, would you like me to shave it off? And let it regrow?
Mm-hmm.
Of course, after what happened with Buckley and the whole her hair regrowing the first time, I don't think she wants that at all.
Yeah.
No! So, of course, now she's looking suspiciously like somebody, but who have we seen that looks like this? Yeah. All right, let's see. So again, obviously the theme here is this guy is. I think Tiki ultimately the theme with Trip Larson, his character at this point, that I think we should probably be picking up on is that this guy is Peggy on steroids. This guy is like, hey,
he's completely delusional and self-centered and narcissistic to a dangerous degree. Yes.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's a slightly exaggerated version of Peggy Hill. Yeah, just the idea that it's like, this guy's like he's fully on like what she's doing, but only a lot more harmfully and scarily.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see. Meanwhile, she's telling Blanca that she's going downstairs to I believe the practice was it the harp?
The harp, yeah.
Practice the harp. And when she goes into the room, she discovers a magazine behind glass, turned to a specific page. Tiki, what is on this page?
It's an advertisement with the exact same clothing of a model with
Yep,
the pig.
it's probably like a 30-year-old ad for
Yeah.
for the
Dragon. The ad has the pig, the man, and the woman. And you would think, okay, Trip absolutely wants to be the man in this situation.
One would think. One would think Trip Larson's is like, I'm gonna wear lederhosen, I'm gonna like it. You
Right,
know?
right.
Like, where's Steve Martin? I need to borrow some lederhosen. Where is he?
I mean, just given how controlling he's been, you know what I mean? Like like one would think, like, yeah, I'm gonna be that dude with the accordion.
Yeah.
Where's Weird Al so I can get some accordion lessons?
Yeah. So we learned that 30 years ago, his mother neglected him, but all he had all throughout the nursery were images of basically what this ad was, basically this magazine, images of the porcelain products girl that his grandfather created, which is even creepier. So he's just, she wants to leave, and then he's pouring on the Keaton charm here. Please don't go. He's pulling some Vicky Vale magic here, you know. Of course, the irony about Vicky Vale is that much like between the comics and the movie, she was created as a redhead, but originally was a blonde. She was supposed to be a blonde, so kind of odd how that works out. Anyway, random factoid. Regardless, I'm so alone and I'm scared here. I'm gonna fix that. And you know how we're going to do it? With a big Halloween party to show the world how happy we are. So it's all about perfection and the advertise. Literally all about perfection and not perfection. All about perception and advertisement with this guy. It's all about literally the advertisement with the perception that we are happy, because again, his whole identity has been forged from this magazine. It feels like.
Indeed.
So, Tig, you're gonna appreciate this. What does Luann want to be at this Halloween party?
Oh, I forget.
I want to be a pirate.
Oh, right. Oh, God. Rick Sanchez's worst nightmare, Dragon.
He's in a fetal position in the corner. Why a pirate? She could have chosen all sorts of other things. Why a pirate?
No, I totally missed that detail. That's adorable.
It says, pirate. A girl pirate? That's crazy. You'll wear this. Of course, yet another one.
Just pulls out like yet another identical milkmaid costume.
Not identical, Tiki. Small imperfections.
No, you're right. You're right. Excuse me.
Yeah, get with the program, man. So we're at the Halloween. The Hills receive an invite to the Halloween gala that he's holding in conjunction with the Arlen Dance Theater.
Mm-hmm.
And Peggy Hill, she doesn't necessarily want to go, but she's a silver slipper donor to the Arlen Theater, whatever that means. So this is funny. So they show up at the party. And I love this. Is a great logic thing with Hank Hill. It's a very Larry David moment for Hank Hill. I got to be honest. I can't enjoy a party till I know where the bathroom is. You knew this when you married me.
It's very Larry David, but I can also just kind of relate to it. It's like, it's like bathrooms at parties aren't something you want to think about, but it can become a very, very good necessity to know in a given situation.
But really, you scope out the bathroom when you go to any party?
I'm not saying I'm actively doing it as much as he is right here, but I'm saying I'll keep an eye out for it and just make a mental note.
Okay.
But keep in mind, I don't go to many parties at all.
Right. All right, let's see. So, okay, this is really funny. So, of course, they see Luann dressed as the pork products girl, and Peggy, I could have come as Strickland propane guy. This gag I think is really funny. By the way, is the fact that Hank was complaining. Instead, I had to rent this getup. Now, rent this getup is literally just his everyday clothing. Only he has he's basically, he and Peggy are going as a 50s greaser and sock hop girl.
Yeah, right. So he's basically just got the the folded up sleeves and the cigarette in the sleeve.
He's got the cigarette in the sleeve and his hair is combed back. That's all the costume is, but it's literally the idea. It sounds like Hank Hill rented this outfit. It's just his. It's not even a black shirt. It's like it's ridiculous. Anyway, let's see. So of course, they're completely amiss that something's wrong here, and then they introduce Luann introduces her new bestie Blanca, the very deadpan Blanca. So then, as she goes inside the house, we reveal the image of the episode. We reveal Trip Larson in his pig costume.
Yeah, and this is full on, I think, the most horrific that King of the Hill ever gets from this point forward. I mean, it is just pure psychological terror, man. It really is. I mean, this dude has full on snapped.
He's a very imposing hog, my friend. He's a sinister. To quote,
my favorite part of it is that the costume has like a vaguely devil quality to it.
I know, right? With the cape and the kind of the collar
totally,
with the cape and the ears as well. It's kind of very Satan-y.
Uh-huh.
But I tell you, man, I just love to quote Kramer from Seinfeld. It's the pig man. Anyway, so he shows up and he's looking just oh god, it's the fact that he's wearing the pig costume, and this the fact that he proposes. So he proposes, but not to me.
Like I said, he's not interested in being the man in this relationship, Dragon. That is not in his cards.
So this is great. He proposes, and you think, okay, this is already insane. He says, but will you marry him? What? So we reveal one of his manservants, Javier, in lederhosen with an accordion, like the guy on the magazine.
Oh God!
This life is a series of compromises. Like he's going for it.
Yeah, it just gets more and more insane.
So basically, he literally lays it out very desperately, and the way Keaton plays this insane desperation is, we can have it all. We can be the family in the picture. Just the utter desperation. And then he just
starts getting down on all fours and oinks.
Yep.
It's just like one just has to wonder, like, why, if this is what he wants, why can't he just have a pig of his own? He's got plenty of them. Well, there's an abundance of pigs.
He has to be the pig, though, Tiki. That's his thing. He wants to be. That's the thing, because the milkmaid is his mother. He needs just some average Joe to fill in for the father. And then he's the pig. He's the pig baby because he was the baby in the nursery. That's the logic.
Right.
He wants to be. I guess he wants the attention. He wants to fill in for his parents who are gone and left in the fort. That's my logic for this, anyway. So logically, Luann runs for her life. I think any of us would in this situation. It's a big man. Run! He's Pig Satan, and he sounds like Batman. Run! So. The fact that
the pig man is just casually asking Peggy Hill where Luann went.
This is what really ticks me off with Peggy Hill. Is the fact that Luann's running in distress and this Peggy Hill doesn't care. And then it takes the bad guy literally walking over. Hey, did you see where Luann went? And what does she do? She doesn't pick up on any of the subtlety here. Just doesn't pick up any like the dread. Like, what are you looking for Luann for? What do you mean? And there's the whole like, hey, she basically makes some snide comments saying, I that is between me and Luann and me because I don't know where she is.
Mm-hmm.
Just a lot of stupid, empty platitudes of Peggy Hill. But anyway, so now they're all heading to this basically the site of our climax here with the slaughterhouse. Bum bum bum.
Yeah, and this is where shit just gets. I mean, Dragon. This climax is as violent as anything out of the Albuquerque verse.
Well, really though, we did crush a guy's head with an ATM.
I mean, I'm just saying, man. It's like a guy literally gets factory turned into sausages.
Yeah. I had kind of my own dark visage of what happens in this. By the way, I don't. I thought about it, like how exactly does that work? I won't go into graphic detail, but let's just say essentially, I think he got it through the heart, man. I think it was nasty. Anyway, so what happens here? So I love, by the way, we get our climbing shot at the beginning of this, which is kind of our title image here, him climbing all scary Phantom of the Opera, kind of climbing up there. Let's see. So you're sick. I'm going to call the police. He just tries to gaslight her again. Luann, you're not thinking clearly.
Right.
Yep, and then oh god, so then Peg here, she kind of ruins everything, but she basically hits like all these levers and everything leads to them being now in a life and death situation. Now they're
Yeah,
on
she
the
doesn't
conveyor.
exactly help the situation, honestly.
She puts him on the conveyor belt, like, leading to potential death. It's like that scene in the Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes, practically.
But I do like that Luann has the foresight to just grab onto one of the pigs on the conveyor belts, just
Yep.
hold on for her life.
I don't know if that's. Here's the thing, though. Yes, and that's great. It does raise the question: is that necessarily her making like a big decision or a big choice? Isn't that more just like a survival move, like jump?
Well, I would say it's a survival move, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's not really like a I'm saying no. It's more like I don't want to die. No.
All right, but then Dragon, we got to talk about the darkest element of this whole episode. I mean, everything has been dark up until this point, but Trip gets a little jolt of electricity, and what happens?
Well, I'm sorry, T. Before that, there's another creepy part that I called the rewatch. I don't know if you caught it. So, like, just the fact that when they're on the conveyor belt, he just kind of realized what's going on here. So he actually crazily, almost like the Joker, right? He's like grabbing her, like, Luann, we can be Larson's pork products together.
Right? No, I did catch that.
So then she jumps onto the pig, and then he basically. So I think the idea of the conveyor belt is you zap the pig so it's in a daze, so it doesn't feel the pain about what's about to happen. So the idea is he gets a kind of an electroshock therapy for a bit here. He gets kind of like a mini lobotomy, I guess.
Right.
Lobotomy is probably the wrong. So he gets like a little electroshock and it kind of snaps him out of his mania, and he comes to it like, oh man, the voice in my head are gone. Why am I in a pig costume? Turns around as there's like this. I think the idea again, the pigs get kind of knocked out, and then like a thing kind of spikes them through the heart. Is my assumption of how this thing works.
Yeah, that's what I assume too.
So the point being is like almost like this giant sewing needle, this brutal sewing spike. It's like and he turns around. It's like, and the creepiest thing about this demise, by the way, while it is off screen, you hear the scream and then the scream stops. Just this, it's not the fall, it's the sudden stop. It's that sort of thing.
And I absolutely think this whole moment of lucidity just makes everything that goes down 10 times more disturbing than if he was just like, just a madman going through it and, basically doing a maniacal laugh as he dies. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then, oh God. So just the idea that the man is, as Peggy puts it, well, he's a sausage casing now. Yeah. It's just, oh God, there's just the idea of Luann here. She's just, yeah. We'll go on. Take it. How do you know what the exchange is at the end?
Not off the top of my head. No, sorry.
Right. Well, essentially, it's a roundabout way here. She's like, well, at least he's in a better place right now. Well, no, he's actually a sausage casing.
Oh, right.
Luann, but
right.
But you saved
really
yourself.
Not in a better place.
But you saved yourself, Luann. That's what's important. So it's a happy ending, and she looks off to the side to the horror that we're not seeing.
Kind of.
Well, happy enough. It's a happy enough ending. I gotta admit, I always thought, like, when I was watching the episode for the first time, I was like, okay, I guess we're gonna do the thing where it's like we're outside and we're consoling her after the trauma. Like, no, we're ending it right there, like mid-trauma. We're just gonna
right.
Just gonna glaze over. It's like, wow, we're ending it like right here. Okay, wow, I did not see that coming.
All right, so Dragon, I got to admit, upon reflection, I don't think this is quite as strong as something like Pretty Dresses, just as far as like representing the actual holiday. Like, I do think it's genuinely kind of weird that this is technically a Halloween episode, even though it has very, very, very little to do with Halloween, except for basically just kind of being a backdrop. So that's interesting. It's a slow burn, and there are some frustrating Peggy Hill moments for sure, and that's kind of like what tips it below something like Pretty Dresses in my mind.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. This episode, I think, does have a memorability factor about it, obviously, with Keaton and everything we do with that character. But you're right, though, in terms of like, kind of a full-fledged, kind of fully developed episode, Pretty Dresses does have the edge. But again, it's kind of comparing Halloween to Christmas, so
yeah, sure.
But you're right, though. We've got more substance with the other one. Here, it's more like kind of a pig substitute of substance.
Indeed.
Yeah.
All right. So That'll do it for us tonight, folks. And our spirits grow weary. But they'll be stronger than ever next time as we engage in even more haunted holiday hijinks.
You might be a pig.